Hey guys, welcome back. Alright, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a unit conversion review. So unit conversion, an example of unit conversion might be if you're going to Europe, and here in the US we use miles per hour. Everybody in Europe, when they drive around, uses kilometers per hour. So things like that where you want to figure out, okay, I'm driving along and how fast is 30 kilometers an hour? Actually, it's pretty slow. So let's do a nice big round number. Let's do 100 miles per hour to kilometers per hour. That's probably a good example. And pay attention to that word per. Per is kind of a magic word for division. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So we start with 100 miles. And this is just how I like to do it. People have different techniques for unit conversion, but I feel like this method makes it pretty simple. 100 miles per 1 hour. So a lot of times you see this written as mph. So that's miles per hour. That's the standard way to write it. You might also see it written like this, miles per hour. And notice in this, you'll see that division symbols there. But just to make everything clear and straightforward, I like to write it in just this up-down format, 100 miles per hour, and then you always multiply, and then you want to cancel out miles, and you want the miles to become kilometers. So important here, if you want to cancel something out on the top of a fraction, you're going to have to divide it by the same unit. So if you have miles and you want to get rid of miles in your equation, you have to divide it by something that has miles in it, and those units cancel. And you want to be left with kilometers. So let me show you what I'm talking about before I confuse you. So 100 miles per hour times, let's see. Oh, and then I looked this up on Google. There are 1.6 kilometers in every mile. There's 1.6 kilometers per mile. Well, guess what? Miles is now at the bottom of the equation and at the top, so I can cancel that out. So let's simplify this. Now we just have 100 times 1.6 kilometers, and then we have over 1 hour. Well, guess what we have now, guys? We have kilometers per hour. So 100 times 1.6, plug that into your calculator, or it's easy to do that in your head when you have nice round numbers like 100. So if you see 2 zeros there, you can easily take the decimal point and just move it over 2. So what I'm talking about there is 1.6, boop, boop, which is 160, if that makes sense. So 100 times 1.6 gives you 160 kilometers per hour. Oh, there you go. Okay, so we did a unit conversion with the miles per hour to kilometers per hour. So miles per hour, it's miles on top, kilometers on the second. But what if if you don't have a unit that has a division inside the unit? An example of this might be the weird unit of kilowatt hours. So you might recognize this is actually going to come up in your lab, but this is also how the power companies typically measure how much power you use at your home, and they figure out how much to charge you from this weird unit called kilowatt hours that you produce. So where does that come from? So we could talk about watts real quick. So a watt is equal to 1 joule per second. And then there's a good math review that Professor Timmy's posted that shows you how to, like, let's say something is to the power of 10, or 10 to the 3. We call it kilo. That's the prefix. So for instance, if we have 1 meter, it's a meter. If we have 1,000 meters, which is also equal to 10 to the 3 meters, you could call it 1 kilometer or kilometer. Okay, so that's where these prefixes come from. If you have any more questions, I can try to clarify in the hallway conversations. But if you've never dealt with watts before, this is what a watt is. It's 1 watt is 1 joule per second. And joule, as you may know, is a unit of energy that is commonly used in physics. So kilowatt would be 1,000 watts. So 1,000 watts is equal to 10 to the 3rd watts, which is equal to 1 kilowatt. So that's where that unit comes from. I didn't want any of you to get stumped on that. And then if you wanted to get kilowatt hours, well, it's not kilowatts per hour here, it's kilowatt hours. So where that comes from is that, let's say you operate your home's power for 100 hours, and in those 100 hours you produce 1 kilowatt. Well, guess what? 1 kilowatt times 100 hours equals 100 kilowatt hours. So this is where that strange kilowatt hour unit comes from that the power companies use to charge you. So I didn't want you guys to get stumped on this particular unit because that can get confusing. So like I said, any more questions, please post to the hallway conversations, and if you guys want me to clear anything up at the whiteboard, I can always make a new video. It's very simple to make these videos, and I hope that they're helpful. Alright, thanks guys, bye.